What's going on YouTube? So Acura has been introducing Type S performance variants of most of their models over the last few years. However, some had continued to complain that they still wanted more power. Well, here is your ticket to power-hungry happiness, the 500 horsepower Acura ZDX Type S. So is this the ultimate Acura performance SUV? Well, let's go ahead and find out. So getting started here with our exterior design, you are going to see, of course, the signature Acura design elements, but these are kind of superimposed over top of it being an electric vehicle. So this is a full electric SUV. It's the performance variant, and that means up here in the front, you're going to have a sealed off version of that signature diamond pentagon grille. You've still got the same texture, but it's going to be finished instead in a body color. Also, the other cool thing about this is the fact that this is traced, instead of in chrome, it's traced in a light. So this does light up at night and give you that very distinct Acura look. The lower fascia is going to be very aggressive in a gloss black with some silver accents down here. And then in terms of our lighting, of course, you've got the signature jewel eye LED headlights. You've got 4 different crystals here, full LED for both low and high beam, and then the signature chicane, daytime running light, and turn signal indicator. Now when it comes to your wheels, you do get an upgrade with the Type S. It's a 22-inch alloy wheel. Contrast design is what is standard. You can get a gloss black if you choose the performance wheel and tire package. Really like the way these look though, especially since the space between the spokes allows you to see the large yellow brake calipers in the background. Now you also have a gloss black finish around the wheel arches. Type S branding prominently over here on our charge port door. And then as far as the mirrors, these are going to be finished in a gloss black. They've got all the features including power folding and auto dimming for both driver and passenger sides.
Now here at the side of the Type S ZDX, we come in at an overall vehicle length of 197.7 inches long, which is actually quite a good size. And as far as design elements, there's a lot to talk about as well. So you're probably noticing this piece down through the bottom. It's actually finished in a silver contrasting color. So there's actually a lot of different colors that they use. So they have the piano black, the silver, and then up at the roof, we also have a black roof. That's available here on the Type S variant. I really do think it makes this vehicle a lot more stylish. Now as we head around to the rear, you'll notice that this pillar is going to be completely blacked out to kind of give you that sweeping look into the rear glass. And as far as the rear design is concerned for the ZDX, I'd say it looks pretty handsome. Now, of course, it is going to have quite a few specific elements because it is electric, and let's dive into those. So we have a spoiler up top, we have a wiper right there, and then our taillights are going to be a little bit more elongated than your average Acura taillight. It does have the same overall shape to it, but it's really long. It's going to be full LED for your brake light, your turn signal, and reverse light. Type S branding. And then down here at the bottom, this is all going to be sealed off with a piano black. It can tow up to 3,500 pounds. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, I'm happy to tell you that all ZDXs will come with all of your safety features. However, there's a special feature for the Type S version, and that's Acura's hands-free cruise, which is essentially Cadillac's Super Cruise system from the Lyriq, which I'm very happy to see here on this model. I haven't mentioned it up until this point, but this, of course, is based on GM's Ultium platform, so you do have some elements that are shared with General Motors, and that's definitely a good one to be sharing. But that's going to wrap up the outside. Let's go ahead and dive into the inside. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Let's go ahead and check out the cabin now. Here is our key fob. Well, as you can see, it's not your typical Acura key fob. It's actually a GM key fob with the A on it. It does have smart entry and remote start though, of course. And again, inside there's not a sensor behind the door handle, so just press the silver button and that will unlock the door. Now, checking out the interior, of course, we are going to have some special touches for Type S duty. That begins with our seats. So all ZDXs will come with perforated Milano leather. This has a nice feel to it overall. You've got Type S up there in the headrest, as well as some color contrast stitching. The seats themselves have more adjustments when you're talking about the Type S, so it bumps you up to 16 ways of power adjustment, and you can do all that right here. We also have a massage function, again, Type S exclusive, and then memory seats are located over there on the door trim. But let's go ahead and get inside. Now when you get inside and shut the door, you are going to see your charge status kind of pop across the front there. And let's go ahead and look at the rest of the materials. So we have got a leatherette material through here with stitching details, as well as through the center section. Soft touch plastic along the top. And then we've got what feels like a real textured aluminum through there. Up top, full leather covering going on through there. Just a gray plastic on the center part of the dashboard instead of the same metal from the door trim, which is a little strange. And then also kind of strange is that this is going to be a hard touch plastic along the center of the console, although it is leather padded on this side. Overall, the cabin does bear a lot more resemblance to the Prologue than it does the Cadillac Lyriq. But we'll go ahead and power it up. Let's go ahead and get into some individual details. We'll begin with our gauge cluster. So you've got an 11-inch digital gauge cluster. This is fully reconfigurable. You can just use the little button on the steering wheel. You can go into several different cool views, such as this one, where you have the full screen Google Maps. That's very nice. Also, on the Type S, you've got a very large head-up display, which has a ton of information inside of it. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, we have a really nice one. Thick rim on board, perforated leather with a cross-stitch design. It's flat bottom with Type S branding as well. You also might notice that you've got the little sensor right there in the steering wheel, and above it, that is part of that hands-free cruise system, the monitoring the driver. And then the steering wheel itself is power, tilt, and telescoping with steering wheel heating. Now, taking a look at our center console, let's pop this open and see how much space we have inside. A very good amount of space, it turns out. Super deep, super wide. It's got dedicated illumination inside of it as well. No felt lining, though. Up in front of that, you have a slot for a phone charging pad, two big cup holders that are kind of diagonal, a really large tray, which is just a kind of a multi-function space, and then you even have this gigantic center pass-through, which is a very nice space for just loose, random objects. Now, the reason that Acura is able to deliver you that is because we've got the column electronic shifter, which is, very typical for General Motors vehicles these days. Just pull down for drive, up for reverse. When you go into reverse, this will give you the 360-degree camera system with the overhead view here on the Type S trim level as standard equipment. You can also change all these different views down here at the bottom. And just press the end of the stalk there for park. Now in terms of climate control, we have a 3-zone automatic setup on board. Very simple to use because we have physical controls here for all of our functions. You also have heated and ventilated seats on board. And now let's move on up here to another physical control. That is our volume knob. So what we have here on the Type S is a high-end Bang & Olufsen sound system. So let's go ahead and give that a sample right now. Yeah, overall sound quality quite good. There's a lot of speakers inside of this cabin, including above the headrest, and it really does a good job of making this cabin fill up with music. Alright, so let's take a look now at our main infotainment screen. This is an 11.3-inch display. This is one of the technological elements that's shared with the Prologue. So obviously compared to something like the Lyriq, which has that just enormous display, this is going to be a little on the smaller side. Nevertheless, it's got all the things that you're going to be looking for. So it has wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which is what I'm in right now. We can also go back to the home screen here. Inside of this, you can access various controls like your headlights, which are actually inside of this display now. You also have built-in Google apps like Maps and Assistant. And then, like I said, you already have that wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Up top here, Type S will give you a auto dim mirror with the rear camera mirror system. And it will, of course, also come standard with a large panoramic sunroof. As you can see, you've got the power sunshade, and thankfully, this front portion does open up as well.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat area of the ZDX. Now, this is a pretty nice place to spend time. As far as the space figures are concerned, let's talk about that. 39.4 inches of legroom, 37 inches of headroom. So the headroom is going to be a little bit on the shorter side. Of course, this is kind of a sleek electric SUV, so you don't expect to have a ton of headroom. But the legroom, really quite nice, especially I'm 5'9". This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". Now I don't have time. We are on a time constraint today, so I don't have time to get my ruler out, but I would say you probably have a solid 7 inches of space. Also, my feet can slide up underneath the seat, and I want to point out that the seats do actually have a couple different levels of recline, but it's not going to recline much. As far as the center, we have 2 cup holders, and let's talk about the features. So here in the very center, we have vents. We're also going to have our own climate controls, which is pretty nice in your typical GM fashion. And then we have heated rear seats, which are standard on the Type S variant. 2 USB ports, as well as a household-style outlet. Turning to the door trim, you're going to see a feature that's exclusive to the Acura ZDX. The Prologue does not have this. We have rear window sunshades, which is quite nice. The overall door trim is also pretty nice. I like the aluminum trim that they have in this, as well as the metal speaker grille. And then down in the bottom, you have some storage. Now, walking up to the tailgate, if you opt for the Type S variant, you will have a power one that's also hands-free. Now, let's discuss how much cargo capacity you have back here. It's actually going to be more than what you will find on the Honda Prologue, for instance. It is about 29 cubic feet behind the second row, and as a maximum, 63 cubic feet. So those are actually quite good space figures. And as far as some features that they are throwing in, you'll find these buttons right here that allows you to electronically fold the second row down. So folding it down is super easy. I like that about the ZDX to give you that maximum space figure. And then we have a 12-volt outlet, as well as a tiny bit of underfloor storage. I do want to point out that there is not going to be a frunk on the ZDX, so this will be the only place that you can store specific items. Well, guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Acura ZDX. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing all the things that you can see on the screen right now, including getting our sound level reading. But it's the Type S after all, so we do need to go ahead and get a hard acceleration. Whew. That's pretty quick.
Oh yeah, definitely. Obviously, we were going just a little downhill, but, you know, we were talking about the power. We said 500. Now, we did round by 1 horsepower. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
We don't want to deceive you viewers. It's $499. Don't stone us.
Couldn't quite get the 500.
Yeah, but I don't know why they couldn't crank it up 1 more horsepower to do 500. But 499 horsepower is still just a tremendous amount of power. The most powerful Acura SUV that they've ever made. This is far more powerful than the MDX Type S as well.
Yeah, and as far as the 0 to 60, you can expect to find that in 4.3 seconds. So very quick 0 to 60 figure. That electric torque really pushes you back in your seat as well. I will say though, hard launching like that, it's not like enough that you're gonna get sick or anything from it. It is still a luxury SUV at the end of the day. like the little sound effect going on too.
Yeah, I'm in the sport mode. That gives you, the full effect. And also does give you that kind of deeper growl to the sound effect. So, we have a little bit of a country road here. I took a few corners just then to kind of assess the handling prowess of this model. Now, obviously, as a full electric model and with a big battery, this does have substantial weight behind it, and you do feel that to a certain extent. Now, this is going to keep the weight down low so that you have pretty good agility. There's a little bit of body roll, though. It's not super hardcore. Also, I feel the same way about the steering. Steering is on the lighter side, even when I take it into the sport mode. You do get better response in sport mode, but overall, I can tell that this is still, designed, even with 499 horsepower, to be something that is easy to drive on a day-to-day basis versus being more of a hardcore performance SUV.
Now, I do want to point out there are a couple different, configurations you can get the ZDX in. It doesn't just come in this Type S variety. All of them will have a 102 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack, though, so keep that in mind. That's actually 17 kilowatt-hours bigger than what you're going to find in the Prologue, which comes in at 85. You start out with the rear drive version that has 358 horsepower, 324 pound-feet of torque, and then you have the A-Spec all-wheel drive, which makes 490 horsepower, so almost the same as this Type S variant, but it's still going to lack quite a bit of the, styling that you're getting with this model. And I do want to point out that A-Spec is the only way you can get rear drive. The Type S is going to be all-wheel drive exclusive. Just kind of cruising along the highway here, I want to talk about overall ride quality. Now, for the ZDX, I find this to be a very compliant vehicle, even though it has 22-inch alloy wheels on the outside. I think it's a good mixture. It has no special, air suspension or anything, so keep that in mind. But I think Acura has done a good job of balancing the sporty characteristic with the luxury experience as well. For not having an adaptive setup, it does still feel like a luxury SUV, although it does have a little bit of a sporty edge to it. And I'm sure you're also curious about the range that you'll find in this model. So we're going to start at 313 miles for the rear drive version. That's actually the best range that you can get in any ZDX, so that's actually in the standard version. Now, the Type S all-wheel drive will be 278 miles, and then the A-Spec all-wheel drive will be 304. So you have quite good range, actually, out of this vehicle. GM's Ultium platform is one of the most efficient when it comes to overall range figures. So I'm happy that you do have solid range, even in this performance variant. To have almost 300 miles is pretty competitive. Very nice. Now that we're going 55 miles per hour, I'll go ahead and toggle it to fan speed 1, and we'll get our sound level reading. 61.7 decibels is what we are sitting at. Now, I do want to remind you, we are in the Pacific Northwest in Washington State, and the roads here are a lot louder than what we typically find back home in Kentucky, so I do think that has a lot to do with that rating right there. But if you want to find all of our sound level readings, you can find that at carconfections.com/sound level readings, where we sampled out all of this vehicle's competition. All right, let's get into our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball. Drew, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the Slam Dunk?
The Slam Dunk will be the amount of range you get for the amount of power this has. It's really good. A lot of times you'll find, say a performance variant of an electric vehicle, the range is like barely 200 miles, something really that's impacts your ability to take it places. This, thankfully, still is giving you very competitive range, even though it has that really high power figure.
Yeah, on the airball side of things, the thing we're really most disappointed by is the overall luxury experience in here. When you go to an Acura, I feel like you expect a certain level of luxury, and some elements in here are nice, but it's just a lot more parts General Motors than it is parts Acura. I wish they had maybe done a little bit more special touches inside of here. Now, you will get Acura's signature warranty, which is a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic, as well as a 8-year, 100,000-mile battery-specific warranty. You additionally get 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
And let's discuss pricing for the ZDX. So we started around $65,000 for the A-Spec rear drive model. Now, if you want the Type S all-wheel drive, that's going to start at $73,500. When you add in destination and stuff, expect to pay around $75,000 for this. And they do also have quite a few different lease deals that you may want to check out as well. Now, if you're looking to buy an Acura ZDX or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. Well, guys, that's all for our in-depth review of the all-new 2024 Acura ZDX Type S. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get the latest car content such as this, you're also going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of fun on this channel that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. So do yourself a favor, subscribe down below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.